So, yeah, let us just take a moment of silence and we start. Oh, Shanti. I see Fazira has joined. Hello, Fazira.
Om Shanti, my friend.
Shanti Kamlesh. Yeah.
Om Shanti, Sister Madhavi.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti.
Manju,
Om Shanti, Sister Madhuri.
Om
Manju is
Shanti. I'm
here too.
trying to see who is saying Om Shanti. Yes. Hello,
Om,
Kajal. Yeah. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om
Om
Shanti.
Shanti, Sister Madhvi.
Hello, Puna. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, Sister Madhuri.
Om Shanti. Who is trying to? That's Kamlesh, right?
Manju,
Manju.
Oh, Manju. Okay. Om Shanti.
Manju is visiting me.
No, because I think I'm seeing Kamlesh also saying so. Yeah, Om Shanti, everyone. So lovely to have you on this Thursday evening. And so today's session is on the power of transformation. Wow, it's big, right? Power of transformation. I've been, actually churning a little bit on this, reflecting on this topic of. Oh, there is Ross. How are you, Ross? Hello.
Hello, Madhvi. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Yeah, wonderful. So, yeah, I've been actually reflecting a bit on this topic of transformation. And, three aspects actually came to my mind when I was thinking about. Okay, if you can mute yourself. Okay, I think that should be fine now. So, yeah, I mean, recently I was been thinking about this a whole aspect of transformation and how much of power we actually our souls have, to bring that transformation inside. And three aspects actually came to my mind. The soul being the creator, sustainer, and the transformer. So this evening we'll be looking into these three aspects, how the soul actually works as as the creator, the sustainer, and the transformer. And so many times, not many times, naturally these days, we live so much in the world. There's so much going on, and everyone is saying actually there's a lot going on in the world. And so, you know, shall we just be in this world and keep taking what's happening in the world and taking, and then what I'm actually contributing towards the world, what am I taking that's around me, and what I'm contributing towards the world. I need to actually, look into that. And we live so much in this physical world, and sometimes we forget there is so much power beyond this physical, and we actually forget that power. And as living souls, we have that so much inner potential and inner power. And because we live in these boxes called bodies, we completely forget the value and the power of the soul. Um, but as energies, as soul, I have absolute um, that power to transform actually anything. So this is where I'm just going to start a little presentation that I've created. Let's see how this is going to work. Can you see that? Let me see if I can do the.
Yeah, we can see that.
Okay, so let me actually do another way. Just a sec. Okay. Okay. So basically, this is the first, aspect one needs to learn, and not just learn and also be, is that I am an identity, I'm an entity that is, beyond this physical, and that is, I am a soul. So this is the body, and then I am that living soul. And so basically, the soul has the power to shape and mold anything that is, the non-living in a desired way. And so just think about this aspect of I being the master creator, I as a soul being that master creator, how much we forget. And we get into this, consciousness of body, and we completely forget actually I am the creator of all these physical senses. So as a creator, as a master creator, I have the power to design the creation. And so what is my creation? My creation is all these physical senses and non-physical senses. Also, I have my creation is also time, nature. All of this is my creation. So can you imagine actually I being the master creator, I have the power over all of this. Just think about it. We completely forget this aspect, and we become so much subservient to our physical senses. Don't you think so? It's like our eyes can actually pull us into this gravity of this consciousness, and this eyes can actually take us, the vision can take us anywhere. And sometimes I have no control over my vision, I have no control over my eyes, and sometimes the eyes can deceive me so much, right? I look at somebody and my thoughts go like roller coaster, right? Why, what? And I look at something, and then, my thoughts are just going on and on. And in the same way, if we see, our mouth and our ears, all these physical senses that have that touch, I am the master of all, these are my physical senses, and I'm master of these physical senses. So first and foremost in this slide, to actually understand that I am beyond this physical elements of this physical body. I am a power inside this body. I am that absolute, the master creator, and I have the power inside me. I myself am naturally filled with power. And we completely forget that and become so much subservient to this physical system, this physical body, and I'm pulled, and how much this body actually, makes us, think and feel. And in the sense, what I mean is, like, if something happens to the body, how much we feel panic, and we are fearful uh, of our physical system, what's going to happen, or about death and all of these things. So as a master creator, today I have become a subservient of these physical senses. And this is the first lesson. If I need to make any transformation in my life, I need to understand that I am the power, I am the potential, I am the soul, I am the master creator. And so one is that physical senses I have the power over. And not only these physical senses, it's my creation, also my subtle senses. And that is my mind, my intellect, and my sanskars. I have the power over these subtle senses as well. And yes, I do. And how much we forget about this. And then as a master creator, I, the soul, also have the power over time. Again, we become so subservient. We keep running around, time, rushing. We think we don't have any control over time. But we do. Time is our creation. Just think about it. I think a few weeks ago, we had the session on living timeless, how we are the masters of time. You know, just think about it. Where is time? When was time created? Think about, 100 years ago, how people lived. Did they have all the time looking at their watches and clocks? Today, of course, we don't look at watch and clock, but I think phone, right? The time is like we're always looking at the time. But just think about it. 100 years ago, were these clocks and these watches all existed? Were people so much time conscious? Rushing one after the other. And today, in one way, we've become subservient to time because we rush around. And then the other thing is, the way we have become subservient is that also we think when time comes, I'll do. That's the expression we use. So if time comes and time teaches me to do, is time my master, or I am the master of the time? We leave things on time thinking that, when time comes, I will do. That means only when time comes, then I'm rushing. Oh my gosh, I need to do. I'm too late. That means time is teaching me. Time has become my teacher. But it's actually the other way around. I, the soul, the master, actually I'm the creation. I'm the creator of the time because I created time. In olden days, the way people looked at time was they looked at the sun movements of the sun, right? Nature. And that's how they identified. But today, every second, every moment, we become subservient. And also nature as well. Somewhere there is so much fear about climate change now. What's going to happen with the nature. But really, when the soul was the master, when I, the soul, I had the potential and I remembered and I used that potential, then nature actually served the soul. There was a time when the nature meaning the 5 elements of matter, the earth, the water, the air, the fire, the ether, all of these elements actually serve the soul. But now the nature is so fed up with us, the 5 elements. 5 elements says, I can't do anymore. So understand this. When I remember I am the master creator, I, the soul, I have the power, then I rise up. And then I have the power to actually control things that are below. And so what is that I have control over? I, the soul, I have control. So the question here, do you as a creator control the creation? How much of control we have over our creation? So control over creation means It's like, are you able to use your physical organs in the way you want? There are two questions to reflect. Can I use my mouth, my tongue only to what I want to say and not slip the tongue? Can I use my vision to only see that which is positive and have absolute control to become a detached observer? It's like having the control over creation means the physical senses first, right? So it's like I am only seeing what I want to see. I'm able to detach myself whenever I want. I'm able to listen to whenever I want. I'm able to actually become introverted whenever I want. So it's like that absolute control over the senses. Understanding, it's like, when we are talking about transformation, first of all, transformation, we all say it begins from myself, right? Self-transformation leads to world transformation. We all talk about it. We all say, but how much of self-transformation do we bring inside ourselves? When something happens in the world or whatever is happening right now, it's so easy. Look at them, look at this one, look at this one. But what about my transformation? So when we are talking about transformation, the first thing, the first aspect is, as a creator, do I have control? And can I manage my own creation? And so the first and powerful creation that I have is my own mind. Right? My own mind is my creation. My own thoughts are my creation. It's just like how a parent is responsible towards their children. When you create something, you're responsible to take care of it. You just can't, okay, I created and then I throw it off, throw it away. It doesn't work like that. When I create something, I become a parent of that particular thing. It's just like parents, how they take care of their children. In the same way, the soul has that, has that responsibility to take care of the mind, to control the mind, or to stabilize the mind, to calm the mind, to transform the mind, to take care of the mind. Because that's where everything begins, and we know. So just check since morning, how much did you take care of your mind and your thoughts? How much did you take care of your mind and your thoughts since morning? Did you care for your mind? Anytime if your mind is it's raising to think something negative, or it's going into waste, did you have mercy, or did you have compassion, or did you have that caring nature to your own mind? This is one of the aspects of creator. So as a soul, as a creator, how much of compassion I have towards my own mind? When the mind starts to think waste, do you allow? Okay, keep thinking waste. Yeah. Or as a creator, do you say to your mind, stop? Or even, sometimes you may say, stop, mind. The mind will say, no, I'm not going to stop. Right? But then I have to always look for a method too, so that this child, the mind, actually stops what it's doing. That's what parent does. What a parent do? The parent takes the responsibility. If the child is not listening, or if the child is going through something, A parent has love, the parent has compassion for their creation. They don't want their children to be hurt, they don't want their children to experience sorrow. But then we are forgetting completely our own mind is our child, the first child. Our own mind is the first creation that I need to take care of it. And how come when waste and negative thoughts or thoughts about fear, thoughts about doubt keep going on in my mind and I just allow it to keep happening? If the child is doing something mischief or doing something wrong, as a parent, don't I have the responsibility to stop or to change or to take care of that child? Then why do we neglect our mind and allow the mind to do, you know, whatever it wants? Or allow the mind to sometimes suffer? You know, sometimes the mind is suffering. It's like the mind is completely trapped in such thoughts. And then, because I've forgotten that I'm the creator, I'm the parent of this mind, I've forgotten completely. And I think it's me who is thinking. It's not me, it's my mind who is thinking. So separate these two things now. Understand, I am the creator, mind is the creation. So I need to separate myself. I'm a separate entity from my mind. And I need to look at my mind as a child who's suffering. And immediately I need to take care of that mind. Immediately I need to divert that mind. When a child is crying, what the mother will do? Keep watching. You're crying, okay. Keep crying. No, immediately the mother will try and do something, no? Huh? You see, Gabby is holding her pet. So if your pet is in distress, what will you do, Gabby? You'll ask, what do you want? What's your pet's name?
His name is Rico. Oh my God.
His name is Rico. Look at him.
I'm dog sitting,
Yeah,
so I don't really know, but no, I'm kidding. Yeah, I would
he's
try to figure out what he needs.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, he
So-
left.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe he got shy. So yeah, so even in your pet, right? You love so much, and if the if it's behaving in a little weird way, then you immediately ask, "What's going on? What do you want?" In the same way, I think we should feel responsible to take care of our mind, and that's where the first transformation begins. That's what is the power of transformation. When I separate myself and when I see as this master creator and I'm responsible to really take care of this mind. And if something is going on in the mind, I'm like, wait a second, what's going on? So gently allowing my mind to actually divert. And this is where practices like meditation, reflection, silence, these things allow me to go actually into another complete dimension of looking at myself separate from this matter that is body as this powerful living entity who has the power to actually take care of the mind. And just think what a mind can do. A healthy mind can do wonders, really. A healthy mind can change everything. If the mind is in certain sickness, then everything is down, right? So I, as a soul, has to take care or take the responsibility of keeping my mind sane. So for that, each single day, every single day, do some kind of practice where the mind actually experiences that silence, where the mind experiences that strength, where the mind has the power, the mind is accumulating the power to actually stabilize. Have to do that and not let the mind, crazily keep going and let it do whatever it wants, let it keep thinking. No, that's the first responsibility. Only then I'm able to actually transform. So the soul acts as the creator, creating this, having this, absolute, control or love, or power over these physical and subtle senses and the time in nature. And also the soul acts as a sustainer. So if I want to transform anything in my life, first of all, of course, I need to identify, and then, then just before as a sustainer, what I'm doing as a creator, just before we go into the sustaining part. Let's cute image. So the soul has the power to create the best. So when I remember I am the soul, like I'm the creator, what I'm doing, I'm creating the best. Because whatever I create, I need to sustain. Whatever I create, I will have to sustain, either good or bad. Even if I create bad, that's sitting there. But then how am I going to sustain that bad is not, sometimes we continue actually going on it, but that's where I use the power to transform, which we'll talk in a minute. But the soul has the power to create something that is best. And since morning today, just think, what is the best you have created? In your mind. So go into the subtle things. You may think, oh yeah, today I invented a wonderful recipe. Actually, I've been thinking about it, which is good. It could be art or, some cooking recipe you must have created. But going back internally, into the subtle, let's go back into the, into the subtlety of the soul being subtle and the subtle thoughts that I have. What are the best thoughts I've created today? What were some of my best thoughts? Think about it. So when I create that best as a sustainer, as a soul, I have the power to sustain that best. Hello, Shamishta. Lovely to see you. So, yeah. So whatever I create, I need to sustain that. So it's important that I create the best and then sustain that best. But think about it, this creation actually begins early in the morning. That's why it's important to empower the mind, the soul early in the morning. So what is your habit of waking up? What time do you wake up in the morning? It's really good to wake up a little early and just at least first half an hour of your time, spend in creating the best thoughts of the day. Invest your time in creating those powerful thoughts early in the morning, so that those thoughts will sustain during the day. You may think, how would I sustain those thoughts during the day? Yes, I have again that responsibility to sustain those thoughts again and again during the day. When you create something very powerful in your mind, that keeps coming back again and again. Naturally, the mind actually takes you there. It brings those thoughts. Even if it is something negative also. Say if you created something negative, again and again, those thoughts will repeat in the mind. The mind will take me back to that negativity again and again. So it's important as a creator, as a sustainer, what am I sustaining throughout the day? So today, did I sustain the best thoughts, like pure thoughts? Did I sustain just positive thoughts, or did I sustain just normal, ordinary thoughts, or did I sustain something that is waste and negative? So I need to check, what am I sustaining throughout the day? And so in this sustaining part, it's also important to understand that whatever actions I perform, others will see me and do the same. Because each of us, one is we are sustaining, ourselves, and it's like we're sustaining each one of us influence, many around us. So whatever we are sustaining throughout the day, we are actually impacting the world around us. So the people that we work with, we influence the people, people in our family, our children. So whatever is my thinking pattern, and whatever throughout the day, the way I'm thinking, the way I'm speaking, the way I'm performing actions, I'm always teaching somebody or the other unknowingly. People are learning. They're being impacted through my actions. Sometimes we may think it's okay, as a boss, I can talk any way I want. Or as a parent, I can just talk to my children any way I want, or I can do anything. But it doesn't work like that, because in a subtle way, people around us are learning. And that's why they say children, when they're little, right, the first teachers for children are parents, because the child is noticing everything what the parent is doing. The children are learning from parents, and so sometimes we don't actually pay attention. We tell children, no, you have to do this way, but I forget how I'm actually thinking, speaking, and talking to them, or just my day-to-day actions. How am I behaving? Because they're learning. Not only children, everyone around me. Because through my actions, I am actually leaving a blueprint. Not only that, in a subtle way, certain vibrations, and others can pick that vibrations. So sometimes if I'm behaving egoistically someone, what's happening? Immediately, actually, I'm influencing that person to behave like that. So our subtle vibrations are making that person also behave like that. That's why they say, as whatever I'm sustaining, that's what I'm actually, as a I'm actually leaving my, footprints. So there are many who are following me unknowingly. So if my footprints are not right, they're following the same. It's very subtle. And that's so I think we create the world. One does something, the other one sees, the other one also does. And also we all get influenced by each other. So am I creating a positive impact in this world or a negative impact? Transformer. The soul has absolute potential to create transformation. The soul also acts as a transformer. So it's like transformation means, like we all know that, one who transcends, I have to go beyond my limitations. if I want to create any kind of transformation. The first and foremost transformation I need to actually create is in my awareness, in my consciousness. My whole consciousness itself is wrong today. We live in such false consciousness today, truly, and we're still not understanding. We think we always have been learning about soul. Yeah, there is a soul, it's okay, there is a soul. Yeah, everyone talks about the soul. But how much are we living and understanding and living that being that I am? Even after learning that you're a soul, how many times have you experienced you're a soul? And do I really understand and experience that feeling of what is that, transcending beyond this consciousness of body into that non-physical, that subtle consciousness that I am? Have you performed any action being in that consciousness that you are? I mean, that entity you are, that is soul. How many actions during the day you perform in your own awareness? I am a soul, and in soul consciousness, how much do I perform? How much do I talk? How much do I see? We forget. So many things we learn in life, and it's so difficult for us to practice. That's where actually we are lacking. We have knowledge, but somewhere to bring it into practice is becoming hard for all of us. So it's a very, very subtle practice that I need to bring again and again. I need to experience, go beyond. That's the first consciousness, that the transcend I need to make. This limitation of the body, the physicality, this world, go into another dimension, go into your own reality. What you are as a soul, that powerful creator, that sustainer, the transformer, right here. And as souls, we have created so much in the world. So much in the world. I was just thinking today, I was driving and I was thinking, this traffic light, and I stopped and I was looking at all this stores, Bed Bath and Beyond, this and that, and so many stores. Looking, oh my gosh, how much we have created this in this world, how much we've expanded, how much of expansion we have created. And yet, when the soul leaves the body, even in our own lives also, how much of expansion? Because we live in this physical consciousness. That's why too much of expansion, because we always feel, I want more, I want more. We're never satisfied with what we have. Today, somebody was talking to me and, they were saying like, one of their friends, it's like thinking about all the money, what to do with this money. Maybe we should buy this, maybe we should buy that. But yet, how much do our stomachs want? How much can we eat? And then these days we have so many problems with the body with too much eating. Right? Digestion problems, this and that. How many things go on? What does our stomach mean? How much we are into this expansion. So when I am in this physical consciousness, in this limited consciousness, I want more. I want more. And in that more consciousness, I'm just expanding. So I've lost the essence in that expansion. So the first and foremost, the soul has this power to actually transcend, go beyond this physicality into that subtlety where I am in the essence. really, sometimes I really wonder, like, even if you go into a departmental store, how many things we have created, how many. So it's like, so one is, transcending from this consciousness of physical consciousness into non-physical, into the subtle consciousness of being a soul. And then this whole transformation is like, when you do that, you're actually reinventing your life. When you're soul conscious, absolutely the way you look at life is different. The way you do things is different. The way you interact with the world is different. It's totally different. You're reinventing your life completely. You're changing. So, like, two examples, like, some say, what is transformation? It's okay, the way life is. What is there? I've become old now. I'm 60 years old. I'm 70 years old. I don't want to transform anything. What is there? Let it be like that. Right? Sometimes transformation is too hard. It's okay, I don't want to deal with any change. I want to be, comfortable where I am. All those things it's hard to actually, get rid of ego. Who will get rid of ego? I think a little bit of ego is good. A little bit of anger is good. Let me have all of these things. That's how we sometimes work. Thinking, change is very difficult. But there's a beautiful example of actually this eagle. Eagle, they say, I don't know exactly, after 30 years or after 70 years. I'm sorry, actually, I didn't. Long back, I had, did the session on this eagle flying high, and so I remember the example. The eagles actually, after every 30 years or 70 years, what they do is um, they isolate themselves completely, um, and they hide themselves, they isolate themselves. And when they're actually becoming old, then the eagle pulls out all its feathers and it breaks its own beak, and then it completely reinvents a new life. In that whole process, what happens is the eagle again starts to get, new beak and new feathers. And then I think after that, the eagle is able to again live for another 30 years or something. And so the eagle completely reinvents itself. It's an amazing bird, with so many wonderful qualities. And I think it's something for us to learn, because sometimes we give up thinking, looking at certain limitations. I'm too old, or this, I'm that. I can't do it. My home situation is like this. My scenario is different. All of these things we bring it in, but there is always a margin for transformation. There's always um, it's never too late. There's always a margin, definitely, for transformation. I can actually do it, and I have the power. Remember, going back to that, I, the creator, I have the power to completely reinvent myself. And there is another beautiful example of this, 212 degree. They say it like in science, an extra degree. It's like when you put the water to boil, right? First, it's like it gets, a little hot. And then they say, I think it's at 211 or 210, it starts to boil. And then, when the boiling, then the steam starts to come, right? So at 212, the steam begins and what wonders that steam can actually do. So it's like in olden days, if you see, how did the steamers and the ships or, certain things work, the trains, they run under with steam. So it's like sometimes what we do is we go to that little bar and we then give up. Oh, I can't do it. It's too much. I'm too tired. We don't wait that for that last one degree that I need to do. And that 1 degree I do, there is a lot of difference between 211 and 212. Also, I was listening to this wonderful person sharing about music actually. And he was saying, like, when a child starts to play piano at the age of 7, how the child will start to play. He will like put a finger on this, a finger on that, and then he will start pressing, and then the music doesn't come so well, but he keeps doing it. But if he doesn't give up and if he keeps practicing it, at the age of 8, he's a little more advanced in it, right? He doesn't do the same thing. You press this one, press that one. He goes a little more smoother. And at the age of 9, it goes a little more advanced, right? But the age of 10, if he says, oh, I've learned this a lot, if the same tune, if he's playing again and again, at the age of 10, he is thinking, this is actually, this is enough. I don't want to actually play this. But at that moment, one more year, if he practices the same thing, he'll be genius in that. His fingers would just slide on the piano and the music would just come out like that. So these examples are for sometimes we want to transform, we want to bring that, but then when we reach that last minute, we would just give up. Sometimes, I don't want to do it. Sometimes it happens in relationships too, right? We work on a few relationships and we're there, okay. We have that patience. But 11th hour, what happens? Maybe that one little extra mile I have to go, just one little extra mile. And then sometimes we give up. We think, no, it's not working. So this is where transformation means keep going. Keep that one extra mile, because it brings a lot of difference. It's like that one extra mile is from good to great. I'll reach that space of great. So what is the transformation? The soul has the power to transform in how many hours? Actually, in a second. It just takes a second for the soul to transform. To transform what? We'll go into that. But just think about this power of a second. Now think about science. Science, every day, every moment, science is actually going into, science is really trying to reach that which is infinite, that which is invisible. Nowadays, how much people are talking about quantum physics. Science, where science used to talk at some point, things about the universe, things that you can see with these eyes. Science is also going into subtlety. Right? Think about, let's take about, the example of technology, computers or telephones. How bulky things we used to use. Do you remember the first computer they used in Mac? such bulky one. And then now it's like you have iWatch, right? I don't know if it's called iWatch. But you have this little, Apple watches where you can just operate everything. Look how minute the chips are, how minute the cells are. But as human beings, what about our own system? Am I going into those subtleties? So, how the soul can actually transform things in a second is when the soul has the power of silence. So, one hand, the science is doing its magic of going from something that is gross to towards subtlety. In the same way, the soul needs that silence. That silence, the power of silence is actually transforming. And the transformation is just a second. That's not true. When I have a powerful thought, I want to do this right now, I can do it. But sometimes we just have the habit of sitting in something and then just repeating it. Sometimes we want to transform, but we have sometimes laziness, sometimes just carelessness, sometimes I don't want to do it, or sometimes just becoming comfortable in what I'm experiencing. Sometimes we say, what to do when the time comes, I change. And sometimes we say, it's very hard, I can't change this. But no, it just takes that 1 second of thought, that powerful thought to transform something. I don't want to do it, I will not do it. That's it. And I want to do something and I will go for it. That's the power the soul has. And it's only 1 second. Sometimes we don't create such thoughts. We have completely forgotten the power of the soul and the power of our thoughts. And so, what is that the soul can transform in a second? My awareness. Sometimes we have what kind of awareness I am in. I have the power to change my awareness completely. I have got power to transform my attitude. My attitude towards something could be negative, but when I think, no, I want to change, and that's it, that's the moment I will change. The more I'll say, let's see, there's that, and I keep prolonging. I have the power to transform my nature and sanskars. Sanskars meaning my habits, my inner habits, my deep habits. Again, this is another thing. What to do, that's my nature, That's how I know to act. Well, that's my sanskar. That's my habit, what to do. The soul has the power. Sometimes we say, oh, it's a habit from last 10 years, 20 years. It won't go that soon. It will. It will. The soul has the power to change. And my fleeting thoughts from wasteful to powerful. Sometimes we sit with those waste thoughts and allow them to keep going on and on. But I have the power to change in a second. Have you done that before? Think for a moment. When was that last time? In a second, you were able to change something that's going on waste, or in your mind, or something that you instantly changed. When was that last time, and what was that scenario? Think about it. When did you change something instantly and you thought, I will never do this again? And how did you feel that moment when you had that transformation? Internally, how did you feel? Sometimes also in relationships, no? And sometimes we hold on to something for years and we keep those bitter feelings inside. And then a moment, just the soul decides, I just let go. And it only took a second for me to just let go, and then that's it. I didn't remember after that. It's like closed, the chapter got closed. I didn't go back into those thoughts anymore. And this is what is transformation. Transformation, we're not talking about, huge out externally. External things would also get transformed, and internally when I transform. These are the subtlest things where the master, the power, the soul, the powerful soul can actually do. Instantly, quickly transform things. Change the speed of your effort from ordinary to intense. Sometimes, I'm meditating, I'm doing. We keep dragging on the same old thing. Oh, I'm meditating, this is not changing in me. I've done this, but this didn't change. Sometimes, like when people try and lose weight, right? I'm exercising, what to do, I'm still not, look at my cheeks, still there, so I have to reduce. Look at my belly, I have to, lose weight. But then am I really doing intensely? Am I really giving that time? Or am I just doing ordinary? Yeah, I'm doing it, but then maybe I'm not giving that much of, not putting enough effort into it. So I have to intensify my efforts. So the soul has the power to intensify. When I intensify, meaning I do it, and then I don't step away from it. Something I take and I do it, I keep on, like I don't step away from it until I reach the target. How many, start a spiritual practice or something to create a change inside, and then again you get tired. And then I stop. The same way, right? Taking this example of, weight loss. You go for a few days and then it's not happening. So intensifying efforts. So the soul has the power to intensify efforts, and the soul has the power to go beyond the physical into the subtle dimension. So this is another thing, like going from the physical into subtle dimension is like, as I just said, like, from the physical, from your physical consciousness to the soul consciousness. And not only that, going really beyond from this absolute matter of world into that silence. How long do you take to go into absolute silence? 1 second? Can you actually keep a full stop to your thoughts? Can you silence your mind in a second? Can you do that? Like silencing the mind in a second means whenever I want to put a break after, I should be able to put it, right? I'm driving and then I have to put the brake, and then say after 10 seconds, the brake, comes on. By the time, mishap happened, right? In the same way, like checking. So talking about this sentence here, sentence we just had, from the physical to the subtle dimension. Physical to the subtle dimension, meaning like I should be able to silence my mind whenever I want. That's the power of the soul. And so what is actually holding me back to create any transformation in my life? What is holding me back? So this is something personal to me, right? I have to think about it. What is holding me back? Is it my laziness? Is it my carelessness? Or is it my not having enough intense effort? Or, just keeping myself too busy in life that I don't have time for something that is very important to my heart, to my soul. So what is that holding me back? Maybe I need to just let go something. Maybe I just need to forgive and forget. What is holding me back? Maybe I have a lot of anger inside me and I want to transform, but what is holding me back? Maybe I want to have a regular practice of meditation. What is holding me back? Maybe I don't want to react so much, but what is holding me back? Maybe I need to explore a different way of living life, but what is holding me back? Maybe I have some bitter feelings for someone, but what is holding me back to transform that nature? So this is something personal I need to think about. What is that holding me back? So after really thinking what I need to, if I want to create a transformation, first of all, I need to know what is that I want to transform. And yes, once I figure out what is that I need to transform, I need to understand that I am that powerful being who can transform, who has the power to transform. And there are a few more virtues that I need to add to my day-to-day life, that is having determination. Determination is important. I need to be determined. If I start to do something, I can't do it later, tomorrow, day after tomorrow. No, I have to be determined. And I need that commitment too. I need to be committed to what I'm actually working on. Commitment is also essential. To be committed. And then when I want to transform something, don't look at other stories, because everyone has their own story. For someone it worked and someone didn't work. Right? Oh, for that one it was like this, maybe it won't work for me. No. You look at your own goal, your own aim, and just keep going towards that aim, because every soul has their own story. So I don't have to get influenced by other stories if it didn't work for somebody. But let me create my own. And then very important is don't give up. Don't give up. Sometimes when we are working towards something, there are always ups and downs. It's not always a plain, wonderful ride towards my goal or towards my aim. I saw an image the other day, like two images. Like one image is the man plans, okay, this is my goal, I need to reach here. And then the image is like very nice, plain and simple road that he needs to just ride the bicycle to get there. But actually the reality is the road is like that, up and down to get that, to get towards that goal or aim. So sometimes when we want to transform something, don't become disheartened, because sometimes the road is not clean and clear. Some upheavals will come, twists and turns will come, but not to be disheartened. It's very, very important, very important. And when we become disheartened, we think, I don't want to do this, it's not working, and then that's it. Don't become disheartened. I think that's the whole point, when we are trying to do something, it's like a test paper. It will come in front of me. It will come to test me, how much I'm ready for it, how much I've actually got there. It will come as a test paper. And then most important is that consistent effort. One step at a time. Don't stop. Keep taking one step at a time to reach that transformation. And consistency is very, very important. If I stop anything in between, the power has gone. The power has actually lost. Whenever I have determination, commitment, and consistency in anything, I'll definitely change. Definitely the transformation will come. I'll reach the destination. Hey, Om Shanti. So those are few thoughts. About the power of transformation.
Sister Madhavi, very good. Very good. We are working to transform ourselves, and you give a little bit more boosting in it.
Yeah, it's nice to have, sometimes, these thoughts to drive us.
Yeah. Uplift a little bit more.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Thank you. So you have any thoughts, anything you would like to share, please do. Anything that struck you.
Sister Anish Sharmishta here. So like how you say, like going the mile, right? So that's so true. Even in exercise, or say you do crunches or whatever you do, it's the same thing that you're doing again and again, but it's only the eighth or ninth or 10th or 11th time when you start doing it, then it starts making an impact.
Mm.
And to me, I've been, so what comes in the way is that uh, thing routine, a consistent routine. And it also brings me to other areas of life where I really have to be protective about how I'm spending my time, who has who is encroaching onto my time, who I am allowing to encroach on my time. Like, am I guarding my time in doing the things that I really want to do, or it's just getting spent like that, and then again I'm struggling in going out of the routine. And so I think that's something for me to really think about, that how do I get to be consistent. And it's been like, there are periods when I'm very consistent, and then there are periods when things happen and then everything falls out. And another thing that really has made me, like, what I've been thinking more and more is that the mystery of the life, actually there is no mystery. It's all the simple things, the simplest. I was trying to look into something big, but it's really the simplest of things and my attention to those things. That's where the magic is. And how do I always bring myself back to the present moment and in being in those moments. So these two are the thoughts I thought I'll share.
That's so true. That little one step actually, all that simple thing. It may not be like, a huge thing that I need to shift. That little thing I need to, unlock to create the transformation. Thank you, Shamishta. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
I just wanted to say something. Sometimes, not sometimes, but probably all the time, it's the intention of doing things that matters the most. We have to do things with the intention because that's when we get like fully satisfied. We shouldn't just do things for the sake of doing it. Is we got to use, as Sharmishta said, our time very wisely. And we have to remind ourselves to go that extra mile because that's when the difference happens, as Sister Madhvi said. So it's just everyday work. It never stops, but it's not work. It's actually life itself. So we should enjoy doing it. It's just, I'm learning day after day how to do things better. I do less things today, but I do them with better intention. And I get more satisfied from doing it. It's funny, today I just finished a book. I mean, it's funny that my daughter recommends things to me now. This book is just for high schoolers, actually, The Timekeeper. But I was curious and I read the book and I just finished today. It's exactly the same thing. You got to use your time wisely and you got to use it for things that matter. First matter to you and all the people that you love around you. And that's how we become more present in our life. And we don't look in the past, we don't look in the future, we look in now. So thank you, Sister Madhvi, for this amazing session.
Thank you, Loretta. Very beautifully shared. Very beautifully shared. Thank you. Yeah.
Om Shanti, Sister Madhvi.
Om Shanti, Adriana.
Thank you so much for this. It was very just well put. The presentation was perfect. Just beautiful. Thank you. So many points. I don't even know where to start. But I definitely loved what you said about not getting disheartened. Because that has happened to me. And I realize, this is like a very strong message that's what it is. It's a deep disappointment, and as you said, and as you were saying also in the Morley, yesterday, that's Maya, right? Coming to test you. Like whenever you are really good, you are like so conscious. Exactly when you are doing great, boom. So seeing it like that changes my whole perspective, and helps a whole lot on being able to move forward differently and being even grateful as opposed to disappointed or angry or frustrated. And then the other thing is that, as you said, if we want to transform, first and foremost, one needs to understand what needs to be transformed. And that's our mind, right? Through meditation. And then finally, I wanted to, it was a comment and a question. I wanted to comment on what you said that is very personal, right? What is holding you back? And I don't know if you you could expand more on that in terms of the methods, right? I understand the meditation part, but is there anything else within the meditation that one can look at in order to actually figure it out?
Mm,
What is holding me back, really?
mm, mm. So it's a reflection, you know. I mean, when I am looking into what is holding me back, I can actually come out of the web that I've created, you know, not to reach. It's like untangling myself, you know, when I'm asking myself, what is that it's holding? Why am I unable to? It's like you're untangling yourself, you know. And so when you are reflecting on what is holding you back itself is a process of transformation you've already begun, you know, because already you're untangling yourself, thinking, what's holding me back? Is that my ego, or is that my overthinking nature, or is that my sensitive nature? You know, somewhere you're figuring out, you have begun the steps of transformation, um you know, towards whatever you want to transform. So it's not how to figure out, but that method itself is a part of the process towards transformation.
Mm,
Yeah.
wow.
Mhm.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Sure. Om Shanti.
Hi, sister. I'll share really quickly just because I really like the question about what is holding you back.
Mhm.
And I think, yeah, just like taking time to reflect on the question. And I've been trying to do that more lately. And when we had the conversations with God a few weekends ago, I've been, sitting in silence, and some things are just coming to me. Because you know what, when we're going and we're talking and we're going and going, we don't even know what's holding us back. So I think taking the time, like you said, to do the reflection, and like Shar was saying, and like you said, we're in control of the time. So we like to say, like, I don't know where the time went, and we like to not take time to be in silence. And so I think, like, everything you said, like Adriana was saying, everything was a very good point, and nothing is very new, but it's like we don't even take the time to know what is holding us back or to do it. So it's just like we have to constantly keep remembering and committing and controlling the time and controlling, because it's easier to just keep thinking and thinking and thinking and going, and to reflect in the question and be in the silence is when you start to feel like you are in control of the time, that you realize what is holding you back. And then, like you said, we are the creator, like we can make any change, but it's taking the silence, right? So that's where the meditation, to then be aware, because we're just going, and it's just like noise all the time. So this was very amazing. Thank you.
Sure, Gabby. Thank you. I mean, yes, the silence part is very important. You know, whatever we spoke right now, whatever that change is, it truly comes from within the soul, and it's a soul power, basically. It's a strength of the soul. And without the spiritual strength, the strength of the soul, I cannot actually create that internal change inside me. And that's where the session actually begin, from understanding the power of the self. The power of the self as a creator is absolutely wonderful, because as a living soul, as a living thing, as a living being, as a living human being, I have a lot of power to mold and shape anything that is non-living. And so my senses, my physical senses and my internal senses are actually not living. And I, as a living being, have the power over them. But we completely actually forget. And this whole session really, it comes back to that point of understanding, the subtle potential and power of the soul. As a soul, that slide about just 1 second. It's about 1 second, and that much of the power the soul has it. But we all completely forget. We forget how, who we are basically. So for transformation, this is very important question I need to ask myself. Who am I? When I understand my potential, who am I? Then only I can transform. I have the power to transform. So coming back to these spiritual aspects are very, very important. Even this question of what is holding me back. Okay, when I even figure out, what is holding me back, unless and until I don't create spiritual strength inside me, I cannot actually, that will keep holding me back, even after knowing. A lot of spiritual strength is needed. Spiritual strength doesn't mean, I'm not saying hours and hours we have to sit and meditate. But giving those moments of silence, giving those moments of reflection, understanding, soul consciousness, these are very important. And only we're able to actually make the external, whatever transformations. Of course, internal leads to external. And then we create an impact in this world. But but that's what we keep forgetting. That's what we actually, do very less. We give time for external things a lot, but internal work, very, very few people do in the world. Internal work. So on that note, I just wanted to say on Saturday morning, 6 to 7, actually I was, we were talking on the last session, Marco and a group of Perialists, and so some of them said they're interested to do. Remember, we were talking about on Saturdays how we can do so. On this Saturday, 6 to 7 in the morning, those who are interested in just meditating for an hour, those who are interested in silence and some reflection, you're welcome to join from at 6 o'clock in the morning. So just freshen up before you sit. Because silence also needs certain concentration, like in the sense your body should feel also good. Like, but if you're feeling sleeping, then there's another kind of silence you're experiencing. So, but yes, the Saturday from 6 to 7 we'll have an hour of absolute silence and a few reflective moments. Those who are interested to enjoy. So wonderful. Thank you, everyone. And Ross, anything you want to say? Or anyone? I see a note from Alka saying thank you. Yes, Alka, thank you.
Yes, it's interesting just listening and thinking, reflecting about the first question, of course, is who am I? But what is it that is stopping me is really the critical thing. And when you pull those two together, then I think it starts to become clearer. But I realize for me that the real question is what is holding me back, and that I need to really reflect on that, because I don't think I allow myself the time to slow down and really figure that piece out. In there is probably a very simple answer.
Sure. No, I'll share one thing and then we'll close. Yesterday, I was talking to someone and she was saying that, she had a situation, she had a big situation, and she got very tensed and she was in such stress and tense. And it was like she was not knowing what to do, and physically her body started to shake. And then she was getting confused, and it's like she felt like her brain wasn't working anymore, like, where to call, what to do. And that moment, she just remembered, let me just take 10 to 20 seconds, just let me calm down. And then she was saying that, when she took that 10 to 15 seconds, exactly, she said, I just went into silence and the thought came whom to call and how to proceed. Just in that 10, 15 seconds of that, she called me and she was actually saying that 10, 15 seconds, I could silence my mind because I've been practicing meditation. Otherwise, when in a situation we are not even able to take even 2 seconds of silence. When we are in such situation where completely this panic and fear has overtaken the soul. So she said that 10, 15 seconds really helped her. And exactly she could figure out, okay, whom to call and how to proceed. I thought, wow, that's powerful. So yes, silence is absolutely necessary. This inner work is essential. Okay, so thank you all. And, let's see, next week we'll come up with another wonderful topic. And yeah, on Saturday we'll meet for silence. Those who are interested. Hi, Kathy.
Hi.
Want to say anything, Kathy, before
No, I just turned the camera on to say goodbye, really.
Thank you, Sister Madhvi.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Om
you.
Shanti.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
good night.
Good night. Good
Good
night.
night, everybody.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.